Okay.
Okay, first of all, I would like to mention that I don't mention the names of any company or products, okay? But I will tell you this, that I started 25 years ago, been with the same company now for 25 years, been in the industry a total of over 50. And I started by sponsoring 4 distributors, and those 4 distributors grew to 1,400,000. Well, that's got to tell you something, that, you know, you don't have to recruit, note the word recruit, a lot of people to build a large organization. You can't do it by recruiting people to sell. You do it by sponsoring and teaching people to duplicate. And if a person doesn't know what duplication means, it simply means that when you sponsor someone, you help them go 3 levels deep. If you don't go 3 levels deep, you're not duplicating. Now, I think most of you have already read my book, but if you haven't, let's just make it rid of that. If you haven't read the book, then duplication, I said, means going 3 levels deep. And napkin presentation number 4 shows you what your business should look like. It should look like the biggest building you've ever seen in your life, and that represents huge income. But see, the building can't be built without a foundation. And the bigger the building, the deeper the foundation. And again, that's why people doing sales cannot make it big in network marketing. They can make a few $100s a month or something like that. But when they do that, that doesn't contribute anything to the foundation, because once you sell somebody, they always think it's selling, and 95% of the people don't want to sell. So I'll give you a little example of what's happening. A non-sales type recruits, note the word recruits, a salesperson thinking they're going to get rich because they can bring in a lot of people, which they can, okay? So in 6 months to a year, they can recruit 50 to 100 people, no problem. Okay, but at the end of the year, you look at their genealogy, and they have not duplicated themselves in one place. They might be 1 level deep in a few places, but that's it, no duplication. So now they think there's something wrong with the company, the product, the marketing plan, their sponsor. But someone comes along, shows them another hot deal. So they're now off to the races on the new hot program, okay? And that non-sales type that recruited that person, they're thinking, wow, all those people he brought in and he couldn't make it here and he moved on. So then they end up quitting too. So that salesperson now with his new program, a year goes by, and guess what? Same thing happens again. No duplication. He's ready to move on to the next program. You've heard the definition of insanity before, of course, the doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I want to tell you a true testimony or story of a guy named Jimmy the Butcher Smith. The guy was a butcher for like over 40 years, had to retire because of a back injury. He got into network marketing, but note this, he got into network marketing, but he didn't do network marketing. He said he loved network marketing, but he didn't do it. He did sales, and that doesn't work. So after 10 years, he was in 10 different programs, a new program every year, never made any money. He came across my training material, and he learned that we do not recruit people to sell, but we sponsor and teach people to duplicate. He was 52 years old when that happened. By the time he was 70, he was worth 35 million. He's now 92 and he's worth over 90 million. We have the recording of an interview he did with Eric Worre, and twice in the interview, he gives me 100% credit for his success in the business. I want to give you another testimony from a guy named Jordan Adler. 11 years he was in the business, couldn't sponsor anybody because he kept trying to recruit people to sell. And again, 95% of the people want nothing to do with selling. So he actually found my book in a garage sale. He bought it for 25 cents and he became a multimillionaire. Now, see, 100% of the people in the world not in network marketing do not understand it. That's the number one word, understand. 80 to 90% of the people who are in it don't understand. And you'd be amazed how many company owners don't understand. Now, I want to give you one more testimony. It's a personal testimony. And that's for anybody come in a little bit late, might not have heard that I started by sponsoring 4 distributors. And that grew to 1,400,000. And 95% of all those people came from the original 4. But what I didn't tell you is that, our company has a lot of great health products like your companies do too. But in 25 years, by accident, I've actually sold 1 product. Some people were in my house. The product was on the counter. They asked what it was. I told them what it was, and they wanted to buy it. Okay. It's the only thing I've sold in 25 years. But last month, my volume from my organization was over 13 million. And this year we'll go over 150 million in volume. And that's more than 90% of the 20,000 network marketing companies out there. And I did that by never, ever recruiting anybody to sell anything, okay? All I did was sponsored and taught people to duplicate and build a family of consumers. Okay, I want to talk about now your market. And that simply means how many people, if you think you're selling your hot health products, how many people you think are out there that you can actually talk to? Well, see, only 15% of the people in the world at any given point in time are either sick, hurt, or into health. And that really breaks down to 8% of those 15 are really into health. Okay, so you have a small market. Now, if you don't believe that, just go out and measure the square footage of all your health food stores in town and all your supermarkets in town. You're not even going to have 8%. So you have a small market, okay? Now you have a lot of competition because, see, there's people that don't understand network marketing. They're all trying to recruit people to sell to that same 8%. Now, the thing that's kind of sad is like all these companies starting up out there, people spend millions of dollars, developing a holy grail of a health product. They get ready to go to market. They all make the same mistake. They recruit a sales manager. Now, first of all, why would you recruit a sales manager when you're not in sales? You're in network marketing. Well, the sales manager they recruit probably has never sponsored a person a day in his life, never built a business in network marketing. So why did they recruit that person? Well, 2 reasons. The first one I already told you, because they don't understand network marketing. And the second one is they recruit the person to recruit people to sell. And that is the future destination cause of their failure in the business. It does not work. So you have a small market, you have a lot of competition. Now here's the worst part. 95% of the people want nothing to do with selling. In America, a few months ago, it was on the news, they were talking about it. 4.7% of the people in America want anything to do with selling. So I'll give you something to think about. In our industry, we have 90% of the people looking for the 5% of the people that can't make it. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Now, what I'm going to teach you today here in a few minutes, your market's going to be 100%. Okay, because 95% of the people want something. The 5% of the people on the top, they already have it all, and we say they can make great customers. Okay, so bottom line, it's really quite simple. To build a business, there's only 2 elements. You've got the vehicle, which is your company, product, and marketing plan. And then you have the second element, which you can have the hottest vehicle in the world, but if you don't know how to drive it, you're not going to go anywhere. So I want to give you a simple analogy, makes it really easy to remember. If you own a brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari, would you let your best friend go for a drive around the block in your brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari if they didn't know how to drive? Okay. Nancy and I, we did training seminars in over 35 different countries, and we've probably asked hundreds of thousands of people.
Wydawał się, nie chcę powiedzieć, że przestraszony, bo to było za dużo powiedziane.
Can you move? Yeah. Probably asked hundreds of thousands of people that question. 100% of people say, no way would I let someone drive my hot Lamborghini if they didn't know how to drive. But listen to what people are doing in our industry. They'll spend days, weeks, and months trying to teach people how to sell their products or do in-home presentations where, they get 2 no's, are ready to quit anyway. all that time spending them all on the vehicle. They don't spend 1 minute teaching the people how to drive the vehicle, okay? So that's a problem. I want to also mention about activity, in your business. I already mentioned that a very small percent of the people, want to sell. I did a Zoom training here, I don't know, a couple months ago now. Woman had about 45 people on the call. After the call, I said, how many people do you have in your organization? And she said 500. I said, well, that's good. How many of those people are actively building a business? And it took her about 10, 15 seconds, and she said 10 out of the 500. Folks, that is the typical for the industry, okay? That's basically about 5%. And virtually all the companies in the industry right now are actually going down. And the reason they're going down because they got to the point where they're losing people faster than they can add them because people aren't duplicating, and they get to the point where they're losing more people than they, can add. So they look for another company. So you got these people jumping from company to company to company, and they're just all over the place. Well, with what we do, that doesn't happen. Now, what I'm going to teach you, you're going to be able to do because of our app, our system, and technology. You're going to be able to do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25 years to do. Okay. Simple analogy here. Once you learn what I'm going to teach you here in a few minutes, it's like you can hand the keys to the vehicle to your person. They can get in it today and start sponsoring today. And they're going down the freeway, sponsoring and teaching and building their business. Now, note this. While they're building their business, they can learn all about the company product and marketing plan. The people who think they're recruiting people to sell, they have to lift the hood up on the vehicle and take the whole engine apart, put it to get back together again before they can even think they can talk to someone. So that's kind of ridiculous. That's why it takes them. Well, when we did those training seminars in 35 countries, I always started off by asking the same question. When you sponsor a new person, how much teaching and training time does it take you before your new person can sponsor someone? Can you do it in 1 or 2 hours? No. How about 2 or 3 days? No. Then I say, how many of you have people been with you 2, 3, and 4 months and they still haven't sponsored anybody? Do you realize that over half the people in the room would raise their hand? So I'd say, well, you'd like to know why they haven't sponsored anybody? The answer is so simple. Nobody taught them something that they can do. See, it's one thing if you can do something, but if you don't have something that they can do, it's not going to happen, okay? So bottom line, that's what we do. We teach people something that they can do. And one of the secrets to the system, of course, is that we actually teach people not to talk. See, the more you talk, the more people think they can't do what you're doing. And the more you talk, the more they think they don't have time to do it. So I'm going to show you how simple this is, okay? We wear a hat that says own your life, and we have pins that say own your life. Now, let's say you don't have a hat, you don't have a pin, so I'm going to tell you exactly what you would say. Now, you're talking to a friend or someone you meet, okay? Now, with the person you meet, don't start the process until you make a connection with them. In other words, find out what they want, let them find out a little bit about you, but make a connection. Don't start the process. Now, this is about all I'm going to say about people you meet, because the system is so simple that anybody can do. Once you see how this works, you don't need to be talking to strangers. You got more than enough people to talk to that you already know. So I'm just going to talk about now the person you met, or you, not me, but the person you already know. You're in a conversation with them. So somewhere along the way in the conversation, simply say, have you ever thought about what it would be like if you could own your life? Okay? And that means having time, money, and health. Well, do you realize, tell them this, do you realize that most people don't even know one person that has all three, that owns their life. Now, young people, millennials, if they're making, say, anywhere from 60 to 100,000 a year or euros a year, they have a little money, but they don't have any time because their commute, their job, things they have to do, their health's okay. Older people, they have a lot of time, but they're running out of money and their health's going bad. So it's a simple question. How would you like to be able to own your life, have time, money, and health at a time in your life when you can enjoy it? See, now, they only have basically two choices for the answer there. They could say, Don, I just want to keep my stupid, dead-end, boring job and work for the next 30, 40 years and end up broke. Or most of them are going to say, gee, that sounds interesting. Can you get me more information? Okay, now, I just finished step number 1. There's only 3 steps in our system. Now, just so you know, that step takes 1 minute, okay? And if that's all a person could ever learn to do is that 1 minute step, they can build a business. That's why anybody can do this, because now the tools take over and will do all the talking for you. So we go to the second step, which is they need to understand network marketing so they know how to drive if they're going to build a big building and a big business. So bottom line, all you got to do is say to them, look at, you need to understand network marketing. So I'm going to send you the first 5 chapters of the best-selling book in the world, sold 11 million copies. It's in all the major languages. And when you read the first 5 chapters, you're going to start to understanding network marketing, knowing how to drive. Now, I'm going to send it to you. I can send it to you by either print or audio. Okay. You don't have to be a salesperson to ask a person that question. Okay. Pretty simple. Why is audio important? Well, people are getting to the point where they say they don't have time to read. Okay, that's an excuse now, because with our app, they can take their mobile device with them in their vehicle. And do you realize that if you went to every town in the world during commuter time and look at the traffic, 90% of the people in those vehicles, there's one person, okay? They probably hate their commute, probably hate their job, and they're going to be stuck there for 35, 40 years and end up broke, okay? They can change their whole life by taking their mobile device with them in their vehicle and listening to the first 5 chapters while they're commuting, while you're fixing dinner, while you're exercising, jogging, walking your dog, all kinds of ways you can change your life by listening to the 5 chapters while you're on your commute, okay? Now, look at the way people have been doing the business before we had technology and the app, okay? They would buy my book and, whatever you paid for the book, you got to add to the cost how much it costs you to go to the post office. Now, where I live in California, we have states already getting that close to $8 a gallon. And let me tell you, oil used to be $27 a gallon. Now it's 100. They think it's going to 150. So you got to add that to the cost of the book. And also consider the time it took you to go to the post office and back. You stand in line, you buy the postage, and then you wait 5 days for them to get it. So in 5 days, you call them up, say, did you get the book? They say they did. Have you read the book? They say they did. You'd be amazed how many people lie to you. They didn't read the book, okay? See, that's what's called cooling off. Because from the time you talk to them till the time they received it, they already lost interest. See, that can't happen now, because while you're talking to them on your mobile device, you can send the 5 chapters right while you're talking to them. So when you hang up the phone, they have it right then, okay? And you don't even need to ask them, if they've read it, because when they start to read it, you get a ping on your mobile device letting you know they started to read it. If they hang up, say after they haven't finished the 5 chapters, you get another ping saying that they partially read it. When they finish reading it, you get another ping saying they finished reading it. So how cool is that to be able to give the person a call 20 minutes after they finish reading it, and you don't have to ask them if they read it because you already know they did. Okay, so no more cooling off. Now, I'm going to tell you the best part about the app is the cost. See, what it would cost you in the past and today, of course, to buy just one book, go to the post office, mail it, stamps, the whole thing I talked about there. You can send out unlimited first 5 chapters of the book. You can send out 50 a month if you wanted to. And the cost of doing it's all included in the cost of the app. So that is absolutely huge. Okay, now, once you've had them read the book, now note that the time to read the book is their time, not your time. So you spent 1 minute with the Own Your Life presentation. Now you spent 2 to 4 minutes introducing the idea that they need to understand network marketing if they want to own their life, and how do they want to get the book. So once they've read the 5 chapters, now you're ready for the 3rd step, which my partner, Jeff Rimaldi, he links his phone to his computer, shares the screen, and shows you how you can send out the book all over the world. And it's a learning curve. Once you do that 2 or 3 times, then you'll be able to take about 20 seconds to send a book out. Compare that to going to the post office. Okay, so now once they've gone through the 3 steps, now they're ready to go to your vehicle, your company, product, and marketing plan. We never, ever mention our company or products or anything until the people understand network marketing, which means they know how to drive. Now, if during the course of your presentation, they interrupt you and say, well, Don, what are you selling? Okay, what's your company? Well, if you tell them, as soon as you hang up the phone, they're going to go to Google and look up your company. They're going to see all your products and all that stuff. And they're going to think, hey, that guy's just trying to sell me some or get me to sell for him. And remember, 95% of the people don't want to sell. Now, when someone asks me that question, all I say to them, hey, if I was selling anything, it's an opportunity for you to own your life. That's all I'm selling. Okay, now, just so you are aware of this, 5, 10, 15, I just taught you everything you need to know to build a business in 20 minutes. Okay? I mean, it's recorded. You can come back and listen to it again. You know, I recommend that because, you know, I had a publisher in Australia one time told me he read my book like 10 times. And every time he read it, he got something more out of it because you're kind of doing it at a different level. So most people, you know, that are fairly new to even people been in networking a long time, they hear this the first time, they don't totally get it 100%. They listen to it a couple, 3 times, and all of a sudden it starts sinking in. So you know, Adriana mentioned that we do this training on Friday and Wednesday with the translation in Polish. We do it on Thursday on, you know, just English. And, you know, you got some people, hey, if they're really anxious to learn, they can listen to the Polish translation because they're going to hear me say the English. And while they're listening to the translation, they can take notes if they want. And let me tell you, Adriana is one of the best translators I've ever had. And she goes really fast. So that goes pretty quick. So anyway, what it's really like is that when you have the app, it's like you have myself, you have Jeff Rimaldi with the demonstration and so forth and how this all works. And then you're also going to have a Dr. Steve Hines. Now, we're upgrading our app, and we're going to have the book totally upgraded with technology because the book hadn't been upgraded in 36 years. And we're going to have Dr. Steve Hines. He had been doing some trainings for us on some Zoom calls, and we want him part of the app. He's a retired eye surgeon, multimillionaire, retired, got into network marketing, been in it 30 years. He's got the fastest growing company using our system and training and so forth. And if you have a doctor, dentist, lawyer, professional person, listen to this guy talk for 3 to 4 minutes, they're going to want to join your business. So you got that in the palm of your hand anytime we want to use this, because all you have to do is, you know, you got the app. So you share your screen with your people, you set up a Zoom call, share the screen, and you watch the presentation. And after you do my presentation, which like barely, you know, what is it, 20, 25 minutes, then you go to questions and answers and you handle that yourself and you socialize with your people. So what I want to do now is I want to tell you what else you get. Oh, let me just finish up one point. When you total up your total talking time, the 1 minute, the 2 to 4 minutes, a couple minutes to introduce Jeff Romaldi in the demonstration, your total talking time is 4 to 10 minutes. Anybody can do this. Anybody can learn to do this. Now compare that, these people are taking days, weeks, and months trying to teach people how to sell. Okay, doesn't work. Okay, and let me tell you something. The more products a company has, the worse it gets, because now they think they got to learn about all these products before they can talk to someone. Okay, we have a lot of products with our company. They hear about one from me. That's all they hear about. And we get them, it's like getting your foot in the door. Once they get their foot in the door, and they start using them and liking your products, they're going to be ordering more products. So anyway, what you get with the app, you get the entire book in both print and audio. You cannot send the entire book out. You can only send out, the first 5 chapters, but you have it for yourself, okay? We have a section called questions and answers. Right now, there's 25 on there, and it's like someone asks, Jeff, these are done on Zoom, Jeff a question, then he asks me the question, and I answer it. These all run about 2 to 3, 4 minutes and so forth. And you should, when you get the app, you should go through all those questions and answers. You'll be amazed how much you're going to learn there. Now, what happens is, say you sponsor somebody, and they sponsor someone to ask your person a question, and they're new, they don't have the answer. Okay, so how long does it take them to track you down, before they can, get the answer to the question? Okay, see, now all they have to do is look at their app, find the Q&A. Now, if it's not on there, submit it to us and we'll get it on there periodically. Jeff and I are going to be adding questions and answers that aren't on there. So eventually, anything a person could ever think of is going to be on there. Okay. Now, 70% of the people, one thing on the Q&A, it has the tracking like sending out the book. So you know when they've looked at it and when they finished reading the answer. Over 70% of the people in the world network marketing are women, okay? So before my wife passed away last year, about a year ago now, about 6 months before then, she did a training on Zoom that we have on the app, which the women absolutely love, and the men like it too. It's really good. And we also have some interviews that she had done, and we have more content that's going in that section. The Zoom training, like what we're doing here today, this one seems to be working out really good. And so we're going to have a section on the app for Zoom trainings. So if you're prospecting somebody in Germany, you'll have a Zoom training in German. Polish, a Zoom training in Polish. You'll have it here in English. So what you just heard today, then you could just go to your app and send that to the person. So anyway, we're pretty excited about that. Then we have the interviews. We have Simon Chen, Peter Mingles, and Tom Chenault. Okay, and they're 3 of the more famous podcasters. In fact, when we did the interview with Tom Chenault, that went out onto 500 radio stations. Okay, so that's basically what you get. Now, the big thing right now, I need to tell you, the app is being upgraded. And we started off with a company only had 6 employees. They could not keep up with us, okay? So there's about 200 companies that make apps out there, and we narrowed it down to 5, what we thought were the best. And Jeff Romaldi interviewed the owners, and we selected a company out of Canada. The company has 370 employees. They're in 20 different countries. They'll be able to have our app up in the 5 major languages in Europe in about 4 months. And the first one to get done will be Polish, because we've been doing so many Zoom trainings in Polish. So that's pretty much it. Oh, I think the important thing is that you can use the app we have now while you're waiting for the new upgraded app, but don't buy it annually. You have a choice of monthly or annual. And when you pay annual, you get 2 free months. And the only problem is that when the new app comes out, you're going to want the new app, and you can't cancel the annual. So if you get the monthly, you'll be able to cancel that and just start with the new app. So anyway, what I want to do now, I had mentioned that I would show you the that you could do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25. And I'll go over that for you right now. First of all, it all has to do with time. See, back before we had the app, the system, and technology, you would have a sizzle session normally in a restaurant. Now, we just went through over a year in California where all the restaurants were closed, okay? But people would meet people in a restaurant, say 3 to 12 people, coming from 3 to 12 different directions, driving maybe 15 minutes to an hour to get there. You spend an hour and a half at the sizzle session, and some people wouldn't get home till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Now the spouse was home taking care of the children. So back in the old days, the reason back then that women hated network marketing because their spouses were gone too much, okay? Now understand that if you did that more than once a week, you were in trouble with your spouse, okay? Now we don't do that anymore. That's antiquated. We do them on Zoom, like what we're doing right now. This is a sizzle session, and we're going to open it up here in a few minutes for you guys to ask any questions and so forth. And can you imagine if everybody in your downline just did one sizzle session a day compared to one a week? I mean, I do anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 a day. Jeff Romaldi, he does anywhere from 4 to 8 a day. I mean, you'd be amazed how fast you can grow when you can communicate like that with your people. Now, really, really important is the book was written over 36 years ago and it stopped at 5. See, once you had sponsored 5 back then without technology and system and app and everything, gosh, it just, you didn't have time. If you're duplicating, you didn't have time to work with more than 5 people. Because when you're helping your people with their people and their people, et cetera, and duplicating, 5 was the max. See, now you can go more than 5. Once you get your 5, you add another one. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is when they start in the industry, they think they got to recruit a lot of people to get started. Big, huge mistake. Starts with 1. You sponsor 1 person, okay? And you go, in fact, it's more important for you to help that person sponsor 1 person to get 1 more yourself. But see, this all happens so much faster now because you have people make testimonies on these Zoom calls in the Q&A section. Gal was so excited, the first week using our system, she signed up 2 people and each one of them signed up 1, okay? So everything goes quicker. So you can expand your base out to 10. That's it. And let me tell you something. Once you have 10 active people, you go your entire life and never have to sponsor another person because you are more than busy enough helping your people with their people and their people, et cetera, all the way down the line. Can you imagine that people are recruiting people to sell, that people keep dropping off? And, a lot of companies, they got things in there where you got to, bring in so many new people each month to get paid, which is crazy. But when, they can never get up their whole life. They're always looking to recruit that next person. We don't have to do that, okay? Now, take out a piece of paper and pencil, and I'll go a little slow on this so you can write it down. On the top of the page, just put you, and on the one side, put under you the number 5. Okay, so you've got 5 people that you personally sponsored. So you're going to help them, with their people, and you're going to have, now it goes to 25. Now, let me just interject here. Big difference between sales and network marketing. When you're recruiting people to sell, those people are working for you. When we sponsor and teach people to duplicate, we are working for them. So we're working for that person to help them get their 5, and then we're helping their people have to get 5. Now notice that the deeper you go, the stronger it gets, because progressively everybody gets one more person working for them. So it goes 5, 25, 125, 625, 3,125, 15,625, 78,125. Okay, now leave enough room to write a number between, we're going to do another column. And on the other column, it starts with 10. You've expanded out to 10. So put in between there the number 5, because that's the difference. You added 5 more. But watch this. When you help those people get their 10, it goes to 100 next to 25. Now the difference 75. You help the 100 get 10, then it goes to 1,000 next to 125, the difference 875. Now, I've found that people learn more if they do something themselves. So when we get through with the call, just complete that out to about 5 or 6 levels, because 100 is going to go, the 1,000 is going to go to 10,000, then it's going to go to 100,000, 10,000, a million. Now, folks, I just showed you, if you do this, you'll do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25, okay? Now, about ready for some questions and answers.